Pschorr Weissbier.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I've got a really special one here today, and it's one of the best Weissbiers out there. There's two that really get me going, as you've probably seen on my other reviews. That's the Weiss and the Schneider Weiss. I think this is up there with them. I've tried it a few times, and every time I've tried it, I've been drinking a hell of a lot more, so I never really got to try this on its own without having drunk anything before. It's quite popular over here. I see it in there's bottle shops. There's a bottle shop in Dorking in Surrey. That's where I tried it first, and I remember it being really good there. And I've tried this in the Cellars Ale House in Maidstone. And I went there last night and I decided to get a bottle, and now I'm going to review it. The Pschorr Brewery are from Munich in Germany. Obviously they have quite a number of different beers that they brew, you know, Pilsners, Hells, they do seasonal beers as well. This is their flagship beer. Now anybody that brews a flagship beer, which is a Weissbier, has to be brewing a good Weissbier. So I am hopefully going to report back to you and tell you that is the case. Coming from Munich, these lot are one of the brewers that they are, you know, they sell beer at the Oktoberfest. You know, you're only allowed to sell beer at the Oktoberfest if you are from Munich. Hence the reason the other German brewery, which is just outside Munich, Inga, they do their own little festival, and apparently they're better than the Munich ones, but I'm not going to go into that at the moment. But let's get this open. Pschorr are quite a new brewery. They are an amalgamation of two breweries, one of which was formed in the 15th century before the actual passing of the Reinheitsgebot, you know, the 1516 German purity laws. So there is some pedigree there, even though they are a relatively new brewery in this form. They are owned by the Paulaner Group. You know, Paulaner, the massive German brewers from Munich as well, another Oktoberfest brewer. What are we getting on the nose? Yeasty, banana and clove, as you would expect from a Weiss. There's a sourness there as well, which I'm assuming is the yeast. I should have rolled this before, because I did have this standing up. I should have rolled it to get the yeast flowing, so I'm just going to have to pour it out and get the yeast at the end of it. Normally what you'd do is you would roll that across a table or something just to get the yeast from the bottom flowing through all of the beer, because I think these are bottle conditions. You know, you'd always get a yeast sediment at the bottom of a good Weiss beer anyway. Let's get it in the glass. This is a Benedictiner or Benedictiner glass, so I haven't got a Pschorr glass. I should get one really, but it's a Weissbier glass nonetheless. Now there is a trick to pouring Weissbier, because it's supposed to have a big head, but if you don't pour it properly, you end up with more froth than beer. Now that is super lively. It's very, very carbonated, as you would expect from a decent Weissbier. It's a good colour, sort of a murky, dark orange colour. 3-finger head. Well, there's about a 4-finger head on there, but nevertheless, that will suffice. I don't think I'm going to be able to get what's left in the bottle, but I'll try it without the yeast sediment and with the yeast sediment as well. So, firstly on the nose, It's very subdued. I've tried other Weiss beers, even the Franziskaner Weiss beer, that had a huge aroma to it. This is quite subdued, and it's not what I remember. But let's get it tasted anyway. That's really nice. I'm just going to get the rest of the contents of the bottle in, and the yeast as well. Nice bottles these. They've got the flip top bottle cap on there, which is perfect because you know you can recycle these and repurpose them. I don't know whether they do a money back. Oh yeah, they do. You get 20 cents in Canada for these. What does it say on the back? Well, here's the label. Have a look at the label. Right. And there is all the spiel on the back. Pause your video if you want to have a look. Here is the cap. I'd like to think they aren't crossed hammers, but they're not. It looks like some sort of mining, because German miners used crossed hammers. As they're two crossed axes they are. But, yeah, so it's got 1617. So, sorry, 1417. That's when the Hacker Brewery was formed. I think it was the Hacker. That's obviously that emblem, and the other one is the Pschorr. PS, I think that's how it's pronounced. I think the P is silent in Germany. What does it say? Der Himmel, der Bayern. So it's the heaven, the Bayern, or the Bavaria. The heaven of Bavaria. Okay. Classic wheat beer, unfiltered. What is the percentage? It is 5.5%, and it's a 500 milliliter bottle. The ingredients, they say, are brewed with yeast. Sorry, water, malted barley, malted wheat, yeast and hops. So yeah, let's get another taste of it now it's calmed down a little bit. That's what you should be looking for in a Weiss. You should be looking for that. That's really nice. The mouthfeel is the first thing that strikes me. It's really good. There's lots of sweet banana on that. I'm really getting the sweet banana flavour. I thought Franziskaner was sweet. This is a little bit sweeter. The clove that you would expect from the yeast, that to me is a bit subdued. And you can actually taste the hops in that, and that's something that I do struggle with in Weissbier. The hop content is minimal, and you don't really get to taste them. I can just about get a fraction of hoppiness on that, but it's minimal. Some palates might not even pick that up, but I can taste like a little slight bitterness on the back end on that. It's a really good mouthfeel despite all the initial carbonation. That is so smooth and drinkable. That's really good. As I always do, I compare it to Weiss, and I compare it to Weihenstephan, which in my opinion are the two best German Weiss beers. I don't think you can top them. This is definitely a different one. In a good way. I find this is sweeter. It's got slightly less clove aroma coming from the yeast. But what stands out for me is the mouthfeel on that. That is just so smooth and drinkable. I really like it. Does it match up to the, as I was saying, the Schneider Weiss and the Weißstepan? Do you know what? It's not far off. It's one of the better ones. You know, you get your supermarket stuff that you get from Aldi, like Patronus and the Rheinbacher stuff. They're okay. I mean, they're just about passable. You get Erdinger, which for me is the bottom of the fucking pile. That is shit. I do not like it, and I don't care who gets upset if they hear that. I think that is a pile of shit. How it's got the nerve to call itself Weissbier. I see some of the reviews on Erdinger. I'm not going to go into an Erdinger rant at the moment. If you want to look at my review on Erdinger, you know, just do a search on the channel. But fuck me, that was shit. It tasted horrible. And I've drank that in the past in Witherspoons, because they used to have it on draft, you know, and I thought, you know, it's got to be better. I had a terrible hangover from that. It was one of the worst hangovers. And I remember going to work on a train and I thought I was having a fucking seizure or something, but it wasn't. It was that. I don't know what they'd done to it. Way too overcarbonated, way too just no flavour at all, just boring. They're at the sort of bottom end of the scale. I think Erdinger's the bottom. The supermarket stuff is up there as well, you know, above it. And at the top of the tree, as I say, you got Weißstepan and you got Schneider Weiss, and then you got everything else. Paulaner do a fantastic Weiss. Just doesn't get up there for me with Schneider and Weißstepan. Who else? I can't think of the name of it. Is it Meissen or Meissen? They do a. I'll put a subtitle up in here when I remember it. They do a Weissbier that's quite good. There's some others as well that I've tried when I've been over in Germany, and you know, they're all reasonably good. And most big German brewers do a Weissbier. Pschorr, their flagship beer is this, and I have to say, this is not far off the top two. What's doing it for me is the mouthfeel. It's just so smooth. It's sweeter than the other two, but not in a bad way. The clove that you normally get with the other two is not there. The clove is a bit more subdued. There's more banana, more sweet banana on this, but it's good in a good way, and I really like this. This is good. What would I give it out of 10? Well, I have to say it's a 10. And the reason I'm going to say it's a 10 is because it's chosen a slightly different path. And the mouthfeel is what is really doing it for me. It's not harsh at all. With Schneider and Weißstepan, you get that carbonation all the way through, which you're supposed to get. That hasn't got it. And it just makes it go down a little bit smoother. And that's why I really like this. And you know what? I think this is probably up there with Weißstepan and Schneider Weiss. I mean, Schneider Weiss, I think they just edge it a little bit. I mean, I'm really torn between the two, but I think there's another one there now. There's another pretender to the Weissbier throne, and that is Pschorr. Really good. And I always knew it was good because I've tried it before, and I remember saying, oh, I must review some of this, but I've always had a proper skinful when I've drunk it. You know, I've been out and about. This is going to be up there as my top three. I'll have Pschorr, Weißstepan, and the Schneider Weiss. I think Schneider Weiss will just be very millimetres above the other two, but you know, it's neck and neck between these three. So yeah, brilliant, love it. 10 out of 10, definitely recommended. You can get that in Beers of Europe. They do it online. Obviously, if you're in Germany, you can probably pick that up in supermarkets, especially in southern Germany. But yeah, you've got to try it. It's a really good one. Try the three and compare for yourself. Feinstefan, Schneider Weiss, and this. I think you're going to have a hard time saying which one is best, because I can't really separate the three. And remember, beer is working class champagne.